Hello my dear students, welcome to my YouTube channel, that's Concepts of Chemistry. Today's topic for the lecture is the Born-Haber cycle for calculating the lattice energy. Before doing that, please do subscribe my channel. So Born-Haber cycle for calculating the lattice energy. We will discuss in detail about the Born-Haber cycle in the further lectures of the thermodynamics, but basically the Born-Haber cycle is a representation in which all the energies are shown for the formation of a particular lattice or any ionic compound. Let me take an example. That's sodium chloride. We are taking the example of sodium chloride. The sodium chloride, the formula unit is called NaCl. The formation of NaCl will be like we are having sodium solid which combines with the Cl2 gas, the chlorine gas, to form the NaCl solid. Now the energy change for this process will be represented as delta H. That's called enthalpy, which we are going to discuss in detail in the lectures of thermodynamics. But a very basic thing is that enthalpy is the total heat content of the system. So the total heat content or the total energy involved in the formation of NaCl solid from sodium solid and the chlorine gas will be represented by delta H, and I am writing formation, the enthalpy of formation or the energy involved in the formation of NaCl solid from its constituents. So now, what are the various energies that are involved in this process? Let me start with that thing. First of all, sodium solid. First of all, sodium solid has to be converted to the sodium atom in the gaseous phase. The energy required in this process is the enthalpy change of sublimation, and it is the energy required. So the enthalpy change will be in the positive sign. So Na solid is firstly converted to the sodium gas, the isolated gaseous atom, and the energy involved in this process is the enthalpy of sublimation of sodium solid to the sodium gas. What is sublimation? Whenever a solid is directly converted to the gaseous phase, the energy involved in that process is called enthalpy of sublimation. Now what next about the sodium? Now sodium has to lose an electron to form the Na positive gaseous ion. So here sodium is losing an electron, so the energy involved in this process is ionization energy, and again it is the energy required. We have to use a symbol or sign plus over here because the energy required, so that energy will be always positive. It is the energy required. So Na gas has been converted to the Na positive gaseous ion. Now let's talk about the chlorine. First of all, energy is required to break the bond between the two chlorine atoms. So you're gonna form chlorine gas. So the energy required, again it is the energy required, so it will be in the positive sign, and the energy is called bond dissociation energy to break the bond between two chlorine atoms. Now what next? The chlorine atom in gaseous phase will gain an electron to form Cl negative gaseous ion, is gaining an electron. So whenever any atom or an element gains an electron, the energy is evolved, the energy is liberated, so we have to take that sign to be in the negative, and that will be the electron gain enthalpy. Now what next? Now the Na positive gas and a Cl negative gas will arrange themselves in a three-dimensional lattice to form the NaCl solid. So the energy involved in this process, that is formation of NaCl from the Na positive gas and the Cl negative gaseous ion, is called the lattice energy, and it's again the energy evolved, the energy liberated. We have to take the sign to be negative. Now this whole representation involving all the energies of formation for the formation of any ionic compound is called the Born-Haber cycle. This whole representation is called Born-Haber cycle, in which we are representing all the energies that are involved in the formation of NaCl. Now, what's the relation now? The final relation. The enthalpy of formation of NaCl. The enthalpy of formation of NaCl will be equal to the sum of the all the energies, that is enthalpy of sublimation, ionization energy, bond dissociation energy, electron gain enthalpy, and the lattice energy. Let me write this thing for you. The enthalpy of formation of NaCl. Which enthalpy of formation? This. The enthalpy of formation of NaCl will be equal to the enthalpy of sublimation of NaCl, and it's an energy required, so we have to take the sign to be positive. Next is the ionization energy. We have to also sum it up, so it's again energy required, we have to use a positive sign. The very next is the energy required for the dissociation of bonds between two chlorine atoms is the bond dissociation energy. We have to take the bond dissociation energy, but again in the positive sign because it's an energy required. Now the next one is the electron gain enthalpy for the gaseous chlorine atom when it gains an electron. So it's now electron gain enthalpy, so it's an energy evolved. It's energy evolved, so we have to take its sign to be negative. And finally we are having the lattice energy when Na positive gaseous ion and a Cl negative gaseous ion arrange themselves in the three-dimensional lattice to form the NaCl solid. The energy involved is the lattice energy, and it's again the energy released or evolved, so we have to take the sign to be negative. So this is the final formula through which you can find all types of energies, and we are concerning with the lattice energy. So for calculating lattice energy, we must know the enthalpy of formation of NaCl, the enthalpy of sublimation, ionization energy, bond dissociation energy, and electron gain enthalpy. And by knowing all the rest of the energies, we can easily evaluate the lattice energy of any ionic compound. So we are going to solve its numerical in details, but in the chapter of thermodynamics I have just given you the introduction about the Born-Haber cycle, because NaCl is an ionic compound. We always deal Born-Haber cycle with the ionic compounds. So that's all for today. This representation in which we are representing all the energies for the formation of NaCl is called the Born-Haber cycle. So that's all for today. I hope you all understood today's lecture. If any student wants to book a paid one-to-one online class to clear their doubts, then she can contact me. My phone number is mentioned on thumbnail of this lecture. Please do like, subscribe and share this channel to maximum number of students. Don't forget to press the subscribe button. Stay blessed.